Hello, welcome to a quick tutorial on how to use the templates that we have available for the whip sheet competition on WSSF.com. You can submit your artwork in a rectangle with the minimum size requirements, but if you have access to Photoshop and you want to try putting it onto the templates, this is how you do it. So go ahead and open your piece of art in Photoshop. This is a piece of digital art that I created over the winter. The important part of your original piece of art is that it meets the size requirements so that when it gets digitized and stretched over a pair of skis or snowboard, it doesn't pixelate. So the minimum height we want is 48 inches. The minimum width is 15, and that should cover the snowboard. And the minimum resolution for your digital art is 350 DPI, so that's pixels per inch. So this piece fits those requirements. I'm going to bring it into the template. Photoshop obviously works in layers, so I want to bring that layer below. And as you can see, everything that was checker is transparent and my art showing through in the layer underneath. Now, the template that we're using for submissions is considerably smaller than what the original file size was, so that when you submit it, it fits within the image upload restrictions. If you win, we would require the original piece of digital art or the original piece of art so that we can digitize that in a high resolution photo. But for your submission, you want to put it into Photoshop, and then I like to zoom out, and then you're going to transform it so that it squishes down into the snowboard size, which is Command T to transform. Now, depending on your Photoshop, you may or may not need to hit Shift to keep the aspect ratio of your original art. There, I'm going to shrink it down. I think I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Hit Return. That original piece of art is going to be quite large, so it takes a second to render there. Zoom back in. And there I can see how it looks on a snowboard. I can mess around with where it's gonna land there, and I think I like that. Maybe just the hint that there's another person here on this side, and a bit off center is always a good idea. Maybe a tiny little bit more. Zoom back out, and yeah, I like that. I think that looks good. I'm a big fan of black and white. So you're going to go to File, Export, Save for Web. You want to make this a JPEG, and depending on your file size here, you may or may not need to compress this a bit to fit within the upload requirements, which you can do with quality, and you can just reduce your quality slightly there. Again, as long as your original piece of art is high quality, if this is a little bit lower, it's okay. And then save that, cancel that. Say you have a photograph of a piece of classic art. Let's just try using that. So I took this photo of a piece that I'm working on with my camera. I know it's okay because the original piece of art is 6 feet by 4 feet. So when it gets digitized, it will fit within the requirements. Just bring it over here, paste it in. Again, making sure sometimes it pastes in on top and you want to move it down a layer. Let's get rid of my other one. I need to change the dimensions of this. So Command T lets you transform. You may or may not need to hit Shift and Enter, and then I can play around with where I think that might look good on a snowboard or a ski. So when you're creating art, remember to think of it how it's going to look on a snowboard. Again, this painting, you know you're only going to get a piece of that when it goes onto this template. So I don't think this piece of art necessarily translates that well onto a snowboard, but maybe one of these places looks good. Let's say we go with there again, File, Export, Save for Web. So there you go. Skis, snowboards are the same. If you don't have access to Photoshop, don't worry. Just submit your rectangle, upload it online to the submission form, and good luck.